Might need to move your phone a little bit to the left or right. There you go. Box is gonna. I'll try to shrink the box a little bit. My head's gonna be there.
Finish him.
You can do it!
Fatality.
You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. You got a reason to follow my lead, so hold on to me and stand up. Watch it all go down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom?
Live from the Man Cave Studios in South Parkersburg, West Virginia, this is Robert's Report, your leader in combat sports and rock music. And now, your host of Robert's Report, Craig Vegas Roberts. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Robert's Report. I am your host, Craig Roberts. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday evening before the Christmas holidays. And I'm hearing kind of an echo from my computer. I must not have the volume turned all the way down. Nope, I don't. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. There was all kinds of action this past weekend with the UFC Fight Night. I wasn't able to follow it quite as closely as last week's, but a couple of the highlights on there was one of the surprises to me was the fight with Jose Aldo and Chito Vera. I could not believe that. I'm happy for him because I love Jose Aldo, but he pulled that out. And I guess the surprising part of it is that Chito Vera was the one that took out Sugar Sean O'Malley there a little while back, and so this might be getting a rematch of that one here pretty soon. I would guess, but anyway, we're kind of in the territory here. Since we started kind of late here, I'm going to go right into our special guest here this evening. Very happy and very, in my opinion, lucky and honored to have UFC fighter Nathan Mayhem Maness here. As soon as I flip the screen over here to the right one so everybody can see, and I unmute him. How's it going, Mayhem?
Man, everything's good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Trying to stay warm here in wintertime. It's my favorite time of the year, I roll. But yeah, I've got a swimming pool and and you saw my my new convertible Mustang. So I'm very much into summer, hot. I'd rather sweat my ass off than shiver. You know.
Man. I agree with you for sure. I hate the wintertime. The cold's not good for aching bones, and you know we all got it in this sport.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I don't like scraping windows either. So.
Right.
So just kind of start off right off here. You had a couple real good fights here. I went back. I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the Munoz fight. and I couldn't believe all the low blows in the fight. I see where they come from, and there were a couple that didn't get called, like you said. But
Yeah, man, that was a tough fight. Just with everything that was happening with it. Fighting's hard anyway. The low blows was not something you really prepare for.
yeah, no kidding. And a couple of them they were spot on too. They weren't just a they weren't just a graze. And then, of course, you just had the Luke Sanders here this last one, which you've got to show off some of your striking, and you have a hell of a chin. And I mean, you took some hits there. And
Yeah, no, I think for sure. And he's put a lot of people out with that left hand that he has. He just put out Renan Barao his last fight. Man, I've never been dropped, honestly. I've fought 24 fights now, amateur and professional. I've never been set on my butt or anything like that. So I feel pretty good about going in there and being exciting and having some slugfest.
yeah, for sure. And then you were able to show off some of your jiu-jitsu, which was that's something you didn't really get to do much in the first fight. You had some pretty good takedowns, and you had a takedown and lots of defense in the first one, of course. But to really be able to show off your jiu-jitsu skills here in this last one was, that I really think, and I maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but you see a lot more of the well-rounded fighters now of going farther. I mean, a good example was with Ronda Rousey. She did great with judo and her jiu-jitsu skills for many years, and then she met up with Holly Holm, which was a better striker than her, and it went down.
Yeah,
So
I definitely think the sport it's come a long way. It's still so young. It's not like the NBA or baseball or football. It's been around a long time. So I think in the next 10 to 20 years, I mean, you're going to see it's going to be ridiculous. Everyone's going to be black belts and everything. You're just getting kids in there a lot earlier now. They're going to be a lot more skilled for sure.
right. Tell you what, let me try to move my window there so it's not over your face.
There we go.
Okay, yeah, actually that's better. Yep. So just out of curiosity, how long have you been doing? I know in one of your interviews you were talking about hanging it up like toward the beginning of the year.
Yeah, man. I felt like I kind of deserved this for a long time. I was 10-0 at one point, 11-1. It's a pretty good record. I feel like I fought tough guys. I don't think I've taken the easy way at any point. I was a champion up in Canada. Fought a really tough Jesse Arnett. He hadn't lost in years, like a 12-fight win streak or something like that. And I just started a new roofing job, so I was working a lot of hours. It was hard to train. Just everything rolled in, man. You're trying to take care of your family, and you can't make any money unless you're in the UFC or Bellator,
Right.
So it really just come down to working, and luckily I got my call, man.
So what was that like? I mean, where were you at when you got the call? I always wondered how that worked out. How fighters get discovered. I mean, how did you get your foot in the door? How did they know about you?
I do have a manager, Pat Wilson with Rye Sports Management Group. He stayed in Sean Shelby, who is the matchmaker for the UFC.
Right.
Stayed emailing him, we're ready for short notice. Anytime y'all need me, I'm here. Just being really active that way. And, someone fell out 2 weeks before Ray with the Ray Borg fight, and I got the call. So
Right. So who actually calls you? Does Sean Shelby actually give you the call, or do they?
he contacted my manager, and he actually gave me the call. And I was at work when he gave me the call on my lunch break. So
wow.
it made the rest of the day a lot easier. You got something to look forward to for sure.
Yeah, no kidding. And then, of course, this last fight, you ended up taking home 50 G's. That doesn't hurt any either with first getting started.
Yeah, man, that makes all the difference in the world. You always plan on it. If I can just win a bonus this fight or this fight, to actually see your name on the performance bonus, it's definitely life changing, man. Especially for fighters. We don't make a lot of money on the local scene. I've been doing this for 10 years, and if you went to work for 6 months, you'd make a lot more than I've made in 10 years fighting up until this point. So it's a big deal for us for sure.
Yeah, and that's and it does. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the sport. Been huge fan for several years now, and I just started jujitsu myself. It's been I'm going 2 years, kind of in and out now, but it's different whenever you're actually seeing some of the people. There's people within our class and our gym there that get the opportunity to do the local things. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and I mean, nobody knows the kind of sacrifices that a fighter makes. I mean, even at a lower level, I mean, you have to run, you have to do the gym time, you have to put it in for and then now you're I mean, how many hours are you spending in the gym now? I mean,
Oh man, it's a couple hours each day for sure. I'm hitting 2 sessions a day now. I don't work anymore, so I'm just doing this full time. So I get morning classes, man. We're rolling or doing some cardio, 2 or 3 hours. I'm hitting it back up that night, 2 or 3 hours. That doesn't even take in, the lifting weights, the extra cardio, the running. It's a full time job, man. No matter how you look at it, amateurs, professionals, it's a full time job for all of us. The training, stays the same. It's still hard work in and out.
right.
So you got to stick to that grind though, man. If you want to make it here, you're gonna take some hard times. You're gonna need some gas money here and there. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a long ride, but if you actually make it, it feels good.
Yep. Well, I think you're on the right track, at least for sure. Yeah, you got two quick wins under your belt, and I also like the attitude too that you're ready to jump right back in it. And I think that's another place where some of the fighters might make the mistake of not answering that opportunity whenever it knocks.
Yeah, man. Whenever they call, I just like 2 or 3 weeks. Just something to kind of game plan a little bit. I took the first fight. I think 9 days notice is what it ended up being for actual training time. I took the Luke Sanders fight, I think 4 weeks. And, an average camp is about 8 weeks. That's about what fighters like to do. We take that first 2 weeks, kind of get loosened back up into competition. And, it's a process. So taking fights on short notice, man, it can hurt you if you're not ready for it. But we stay in the gym. We stay prepared. Whenever they need me, just give me a call.
Yeah, and so what's as far as doing a weight cut? That's one of the things I've never had to do or anything. So I was kind of curious on what what is your routine on doing a weight cut? I mean,
Uh, I'm eating about 1,000 calories a day. I get up to anywhere from 155 to 160, and I fight at 135. So we're just dieting down, a lot of running, at least 2 miles every morning, and then some days I'll throw in some longer runs at night. I'll get some 6 mile runs in, some 8 mile runs in, a lot of hill sprints, things like that. The training burns it off of you too, man. If you just clean up your diet, you'll lose quite a bit of weight at first. I like to diet down to about 45. If I can get lower, I get lower. And the rest is just the water cut where you're just sweating out that extra 10 pounds and you're making weight and then you're putting the hydration back in you.
yeah. So I kind of always wondered too. You always wonder how some of the ones miss weight. I don't understand, especially the ones that have 2 or 3 months notice how they miss weight.
And I think it's got to be a discipline thing. You're either trying to cut too much and you're not in the class you should be, or you're just not doing what you're supposed to be doing, getting ready for that final cut. I've made weight from 54 to 35 in a week. And I mean, it's tough, it's hard, but that's what we
Yeah,
signed up for, when you sign the contract. A part of that's making weight. Even for this last fight, it was a 140 catch weight. that had nothing to do with me. 2 weeks out, he said he couldn't make 35, and we ended up fighting at 140. My first fight was at 45. I'm still yet to really even fight in my class, but I think it's just a part of being a professional.
Yeah, and I think you also hit the nail on the head on being in the right weight class too. That look how many years Conor McGregor fought featherweight there, and I mean it looked sickly sometimes on some of his fights.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what people can do with their weight. I could probably even get in the 20s. I just don't think I could ever hit 25, but I mean, you'll see some guys, shoot for things like that. I think it's better. 35 is perfect for me. 40 felt great. It was an easy cut. But yeah, it's staying within your lane a little bit too.
So you called out a couple fighters there, Adrian Yanez and Nathaniel Woods, and I noticed both of those were in bantamweights. So you'd have to drop down a little bit for that, but that's a pretty good that's a pretty busy weight class right now. Especially with of course you got Cody Garbrandt that's kind of floating around in there. You've got TJ Dillashaw getting ready to come back.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean the division is stacked right now. We got a lot of good fighters, a lot of good fights to be made. You mentioned Jose Aldo and Chito Vera there at 135. That was a good fight. Marlon Moraes fought. Rob Font ended up beating him.
Yeah.
Dominic Cruz, Casey Kinney they're fighting in March. I know Adrian Yanez just booked a fight against Gustavo Lopez. We're just trying to stay active, man. Everybody's really tough in this division. We're fast like the 25s, but we hit hard too. So I think the division's really looking up.
It's exciting. I agree. That division. I mean, both, and especially even the flyweights now are the flyweights, bantam, and featherweight. Those are all busy. I mean, you can, I don't want to say easily, but as a fighter, you can jump there and make some cash. I mean,
Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm open to fighting at 45 for the right opportunities. I'm still pretty young. I can still hit 35 pretty easy. I think 45 will probably be in my future here in a couple of years when I get a little older, get a little bigger, things like that. Yeah, I'm ready to stay active for sure.
So what, as far as with the UFC and the COVID,
they fly us out for the week. They have a hotel just for the UFC fighters and staff. We're quarantined there from Tuesday till Sunday after the fight. So we're there pretty much all week. Temperature checks every morning. We do 3 COVID tests, 1 COVID test before we even fly out, just to make sure there's a point in flying out. We're pretty much locked down in quarantine, man. We don't get to see each other very much. We don't really get to walk around the building. You're pretty much stuck in a room the whole week.
Well, that's pretty cool, though. I mean, it's not cool that you're quarantined, but they're still going. You look at all these other sports that are struggling. I know Dana White's the UFC's been praised many times now during one of the most challenging years in sports history, in everybody's, and they're still doing very well. I mean, they're taking care of their fighters. That Fight Island thing was a brilliant thing. I mean, do all your international fights there.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm happy he is. He gives us a little pep talk right after weigh-ins for every fight, and he has no plans of shutting down. If Vegas tried to shut him down, we're going to Fight Island. The fights are going to continue. He's been having shows every Saturday now, it seems like, for a couple of months. So, I mean, I don't even think he's just putting on fights. I think we're actually making quite a bit of money. We're advancing, we're progressing, because a lot of the other sports are shut down. Fighting's where it's at right now. So I'm definitely thankful that he's continuing on.
So what are some of your, as a fan of UFC before you got into it, and I'm sure you still have fans in it. I mean, you're still a fan of who's you have your favorite fighters, or you have anybody that's influences?
Yeah. I really like watching Israel Adesanya right now. He's really smooth striker. I love watching Conor McGregor put that left hand on people. He's really talented. Jose Aldo has always been one of my favorites, so it's good to see him pick up that win this weekend. Dominic Cruz, I love watching TJ Dillashaw, some guys that are in my weight class. GSP was my man before he retired. He's the one that actually got me into fighting. He was my first guy. But yeah, those are a couple of my guys.
So we think about John Jones going up into heavyweight. Think he's going to be able
I
to?
like it. Yeah, I like it. Man, he's so talented. He's going to have good fights everywhere. Now that Israel Adesanya's coming up, I kind of wish he would have stayed, at
I know,
205.
same here.
Yeah, but
That
I love to watch
would have been a
him.
Raiders Stadium fight there.
Yeah.
Him and
Maybe,
John
maybe they're
Jones.
holding that one back to till some fans can get in there. So maybe we'll still see it here sometime soon.
Yeah, I think he can still drop down to. I think he could do it for that.
Yeah, and Israel.
Cash is right.
And Israel's talked about even going to heavyweight if he has to chase John. So I mean, I think it's going to happen at some point. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, for some reason or other than stylistic though, I don't see Stipe being able to compete with John Jones. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but Stipe's a great wrestler.
Yeah. I don't want to sell him short, but yeah, man, I just think he's going to be champion there. I think, but unless somebody ends up catching him with the power that they have, like a Francis Ngannou or something like that, skill for skill, he's the best at heavyweight too.
Yep, I agree. So what's the the gym that you're at? I noticed that you were out of Nashville or that general area. Is that correct? Nashville, Tennessee, but you moved to Kentucky. Is that what?
Yeah. Nashville is about 2 hours from my hometown. It's actually kind of right in the middle of where I am now and my hometown. But yeah, I'm training in Morganfield, Kentucky with Tag MMA. They're my home gym. I go over to Evansville at Nice Guy Submission. They actually just gave me my purple belt. They're my jiu-jitsu gym. A lot of good black belts up there. Some former professional fighters, some former UFC vets. So I'm getting a lot of good work in around here.
What belt are you in jiu-jitsu?
I just got my purple belt. It's been maybe two months ago, something like that. I just got my purple belt.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a that some don't realize on how important that is. It's just that's just as important as going to high school or getting your degree or whatever in college. It's just there's so much effort that goes into it, blood, sweat, and tears, and so that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, hopefully get that brown belt here in the next couple years, and the black belt. We're not stopping. So my problem, I got stuck at white belt for about 10 years, is what held me back. But hopefully soon.
I feel you there, man. It's it's I don't want to say frustrating. It's not frustrating, but it's like an uphill challenge. It seems to get past white belt. I'm a 3-stripe right now, and I'm just like, man, I'm just getting chewed up by blue belts, and just my God. And but yeah, we'll get there eventually. It's just one of those things. It's you know how it is. It's just a challenge. I mean, you get beat, and you're like, shit. You get back and the next day, and try to beat the same person. It's just
Yeah, man. You have some good days, some bad days. I think everybody should at least try it a couple times. Like you said, the challenge of it. You figure out a lot about yourself and how you'll respond in certain situations. It's a lot more chess than it is checkers. It's a lot more of a thinking man sport than it is just physicality. So yeah, I enjoy doing jiu-jitsu, man, and I feel like my game's really taking another step. Training with Nice Guy Submission on the ground. We have a guy that just performed at EBI, Bobby Emmons. So he's still.
Oh yeah, I've been following him a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's still competing. So me and him like to push each other. So yeah, man, I enjoy it for sure.
Yeah, I like actually it's kind of talking Bobby online there a little bit, and I really like his work ethic and mentality on, there's no participation trophies in, MMA. It's just not you either put in the work and sweat and win, or, you don't get it. It's just, And
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I've been, matter of fact, I've only been to one tournament, and there was only two people in my weight class, and of course I got the participation, I got the participation medal, but yeah, I was like, man, this is shit, I don't, I didn't, so I get where he's coming from on that, so.
Yeah, man, they're tough on you, but it's all to get better. They just want to see you get better, and I think the way to push that, man, and we're shooting for first every time. Of course, Bobby has a really great attitude. Everybody up there, they care for you, and they would just want to see you do your best, man.
Yeah, normally I get comments on here, but for some reason or other, my Facebook is not giving any comments there from people. So what we may end up having to do after the fact is we'll go back and you'll be able to go back and answer them. But anyway, I just noticed that's the only reason why I just now brought that up. What's the what are your plans then with what's your future look like? I mean, I know you kind of talked about. You said you're going to plan on staying in the 135, 145 range then, I guess, and.
Yeah, I plan on my next fight being at 135. We're shooting for now with Christmas and things like that coming up, New Year's. We'll probably shoot for late February, early March. It depends on the UFC what they want to do. But that's when I would like to get back in there. I'd like to stay pretty active, fight every couple of months, and get my ranking up there. Make some money while I'm still young. So we definitely want to be active, and hopefully by this time next year, I'll be in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm kind of hopping around here, but you mentioned there earlier about Dana White. We've actually, myself, I've had a couple opportunities to be able to meet with him, and I just don't understand where he catches a lot of flack from, I don't know where it comes from, but he catches a lot of flack from fighters, saying, he's lying about this, lying about that, and I don't get it, man. Every time I've ever talked to the guy, he's been so down to earth, so nice. A matter of fact, I got to kind of share this with you. We were out there we usually go to the expos out in Vegas. We did it every year until just last year before last, and then of course this year they didn't have it. So, but they were doing. It was the first time that they were kind of doing the Hall of Fame and inductee thing, and he was kind of having a ceremony out there and taking questions from fans and stuff. My wife was standing there, and there was like 5 people there that were not. They didn't have tickets to the fight that weekend, and he got them tickets for the fight. A couple of them wanted autographs from fighters. He made that happen. He got pictures with people. I mean, he's a good dude.
Yeah, I haven't really been able to have a conversation one-on-one, but he gives us the little pep talks in the back. I think he's just passionate about what he does. He loves the fighters. He loves the fight game. He seems like a great guy to me. As far as he gets a lot of flack. The fighters, everybody wants to get paid more around here. I think we just got to understand that it's a business. I'm never going to complain about my contract. If I'm making the UFC money, then I'll end up making money. I think people get a little too greedy here and there, and for some reason, Dana tends to be the scapegoat on that.
Right.
But you gotta understand the business side of it. And as far as personal, I think he's a great guy.
Yeah, no kidding. And and what a lot of people don't understand either is the roster is huge. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of fighters under contract with UFC. So I mean, I mean, UFC doesn't get UFC fighters don't get paid as much as boxers do, but I don't know. I don't know where that, and I don't even understand that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm not sure all that money's coming from.
You got to wonder. You got to
Yeah.
wonder. What did you watch the Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. fight?
Yeah, we caught it right after my fight. We got back to the hotel just as Jake Paul was beating Nate Robinson. So we got there just in time.
Jake Paul. Yeah,
I don't know about that guy.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah, if anybody's going to end up in a ditch somewhere, it's going to be him.
Yeah, man, he's pushing his luck with some guys he probably doesn't want to.
Especially Diaz brothers. I can just see that not going down good.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy, he sees you in the streets, it doesn't really have to be an MMA fight. He's down to play for sure.
Yeah. But Tyson is in incredible shape for. I mean, I honestly think that he could compete with a lot of the boxers that are out there right now.
Yeah, I thought he looked really well. He definitely won that fight. I don't know about the draw. I guess, it's whatever, exhibition fight, however you want to call it. But he definitely won that fight. He looked really good doing it. He's with a good coach right now. It looks like he's really dedicated. I don't know if I necessarily want to see him, take on the best of the best. He's just an older guy. He's made his money. I'd like these
Right.
exhibition matches, him and Evander Holyfield, some guys more his age. I would definitely like to see all those kind of fights.
Yeah, I'd like to see him with Holyfield. That would be a good. I would like to see him not. I guess. I think with Roy Jones Jr. He took it easy on him. To be honest, I think he kind of said that toward the end that he didn't have any intentions on really knocking him out. He just wanted to go the distance.
Yeah. You could tell he did a lot more body work than he did going up high, too. So I think that played a little bit of a role, too, in not trying to hurt him too bad.
Yeah, actually, we got a Derek Drain on here that just. Do you know Derek Drain? Possibly.
Maybe.
Okay, so Tyson definitely getting ripped back up for sure. So I don't think that was. I think that was just in general to our conversation there. Thanks, Derek, for checking in there. But yeah, Jake Paul is talking about going over and fighting Tyson Fury. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's calling out Connor, Dylan Dennis, a lot of guys. He's probably just going to lose to. But we're sitting here talking about
He's
him.
smart.
So yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Yeah.
So, somewhere or other, he's going to get some cash.
Yep. As long as people are, there's no bad publicity for sure. As long as we're talking about him, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing.
So, what do you think about people from boxing coming over to MMA? I mean, I wish somebody would try to do it. I mean, you had, of course, you had a couple pro wrestlers come over, and only one of them was really semi-successful. Brock Lesnar, just because he's an ape.
Right.
But
And people forget Brock Lesnar. He wrestled in college. He was a D1, wrestler,
yeah,
and he's just a monster of a man. So I think when you have that wrestling background, it makes it a lot easier to transition over. Takedowns, being able to keep the fight standing or on the ground, you kind of determine where the fight takes place. As far as boxers, man, it's tough for me just because of that ground aspect. If everyone's gonna try to take you down. If you don't have any kind of defense for that, it's gonna be a pretty quick night.
yeah, it'd have to be somebody who's fairly young in order to develop that skill set for sure. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. I know James Toney come over. He was kind of out of his prime at that point. He came over and fought Randy Couture, and it was 15 seconds he was already on his back, and it was pretty bad from there. So I just think it's a different skill. I think it's easier we already do, boxing. Obviously, we're not as skilled at boxing, but I think you'll see a lot more MMA guys go over to boxing than you'll see boxers come into MMA. There's just too much to learn.
Yeah, and actually, I would really like to see that more. I really would like. I mean, I enjoyed the Mayweather and Conor McGregor thing. It was kind of cool.
Yeah. And Conor looked good. There's a lot of good boxers. Nate and Nick Diaz have really good boxing. They would be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier has good boxing. Max Holloway. We have some good boxers over here, man. I don't see why they don't do it more. Everybody makes money.
Yeah, and cardio. I mean, there's nothing like rolling around on the ground and grappling and then getting back up and striking and cardio versus and it's a different, it showed in the Conor McGregor in that fight, obviously McGregor was a 5-round fighter and Mayweather was a 15-round fighter or 12-round fighter and knew how to, put the ease on the accelerator and then knew when to hit the throttle.
Right. And he's been in that situation so much. I'm sure Connor had a little bit of an adrenaline dump. I think his cardio's good, but he's so explosive. I think that's why he hits so hard. I think his gas kind of runs out a little faster, too. I don't think you'd see that problem with Nick or Nate Diaz, someone like that who's a lot more less explosive. That explosive energy, man, it gives you that pop, but it takes a lot out of you. I think Floyd played that perfectly. Let him, get his punches off, throw hard, move around, have that adrenaline dump, and then he came on later in the later rounds.
Right. Yep, that's exactly what he did. He played it perfect. I can't believe how the Diaz brothers, on how they smoke pot all the time and are able to run triathlons, and it is nuts.
Hard work is one thing. Genetics play a lot into this too, man. They're just made of something different.
Yeah, and another good one example of that too is Gamebred, man. He's just the genetics of the fight is Street Fighter. I mean, seeing some of where these guys came from, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to have a lot of respect for guys like George Masvidal, willing to fight anybody at any time, at any place. As a fight fan, you got to love that about him.
Yeah, actually, and Michael Bisping was another one of those that was anytime, anywhere kind of fighter. And I guess my disappointment with Conor McGregor is his defending his belt when he had it. It was kind of, just kind of, once he got it and made the money, he just kind of went on idle.
Yeah, his activity level, we all wish we got to see him a little bit more, just be a little bit more active. It's easy to sit here and talk about it, but, if you got $100 million in the bank,
exactly.
It's hard to blame him for sure. But, yeah, I'd definitely like to see him more active.
Do you think that, the Mayweather fight may have encouraged that after the fact, that the kind of money that he did make off of that? Because, I mean, as soon as that was done, it was like, I mean, it wasn't me. I mean, it wouldn't. Why would I want to go get my face smashed?
Yeah, man, I don't know if I would be, I love fighting. I'd probably always train, but having that much money in the bank and, sitting around cutting weight and going to actually fight, it's not something you just want to do for fun. But yeah, I can't blame him, man. It's a lot of money.
What would you do?
I think I'd definitely take, time like he did. I think that competitive drive is always going to be there, and it just really depends on if you give into it or not. If you fought, you're always going to be a fighter.
Yep, I agree. Okay, that Derek guy, I see. He says Conor versus Jake Paul. LOO, Jake is asking for death penalty. Says boxing is dead, trying to make a comeback through MMA. I think they're making a comeback. I sort of disagree with that. I do think they're making a comeback, but I think the quality of the fighters is also. I think maybe UFC or MMA is maybe even enhancing the boxing maybe a little bit. I don't want to say that it's completely dead, because you got your people that you still got that underground fan club for boxers and diehard boxing fans.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the problem with boxing is they just don't make the fights that, the fans want to see the way MMA does. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they need to fight. Guys like that. I just think they need to make the fights that the fans want to see, put the two best guys together like MMA does all the time.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a very good point. That's what Dana White does for, I've always wondered why, I always said, why aren't they making the fights by the rankings? If you're ranked number 2? Why is number 5 fighting for championship versus number 2? And it's
Right.
It's not what the fans want to see. They want to see
There-
whoever it is, the
there-
excitement.
And there's so many titles, so many weight classes. Every 2 pounds, 3 pounds. It's a lot to keep up with. If that was happening in MMA, we could have had Connor at 155 pounds and Khabib at 157.5 pounds, and never even get the matchup. So I think they need to see too many weight classes, too many belts that they don't really mean anything because there's so many. And to put on the fights that the fans want to see would really help, I think.
Yep, I agree 100%. Yep. So if you were I'm kind of rolling down toward the end here. If you had some, I'm going to kind of put you in the role of a motivational speaker here, and you've got that young fighter out there that's we got Chase Hooper that's 21. You got these people that have that dream that they want to do it. You almost dropped it. You almost turned the other direction before you got to where you are now.
Right.
What's your advice to them?
Oh man, telling a young fighter, show up even on the days that you don't feel like it. That's when when you get better. That's when you earn your discipline and your routine. Always show up to the gym. Always bet on yourself. When people look down on you or think that they're better than you or you can't accomplish it, just that self-belief. And I just think those two things alone will get you where you need to be.
Yep, I agree, I concur with that. It's been since April since I've been to Planet Fitness, and my waistline right now is showing it. but but you're right though. There's days that you just don't feel like rolling out of bed and getting there, and once you get there though, you're glad you did. And
yeah, man, I think showing up is probably 80% of the work. Just making yourself get there.
Yep, I agree. Well, Nate, I appreciate your time here, and again, it's an honor. I've always wanted to be able to interview and talk to a UFC fighter, and you're my first. So hopefully you're the first of many. But congratulations on your last win, and also especially congratulations on following your dream and keeping with it. That's that's it's important to be happy. Money means a lot, but it's important to be happy too. And so I do appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me on. Before the next fight or after, or however you want to do it, I'm definitely down to come back on. Do
Okay.
it.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And got the
There you go.
got the support on here. So
I like it.
all right, Nate. Well, have a good Christmas and a happy New Year. Stay safe and keep rocking, man. We'll still, I'm a fan, so I'll keep supporting you, man. Keep at it.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. All right, guys. Let me get this switched over here. All right. As soon as I get there we go. All right. What an opportunity there. I really appreciate Nate being on, being up to doing an interview, and we will catch up with him again, hopefully after his next win there. He's looking to fight again sometime, hopefully in March, maybe, if gets the call. He absolutely took the call when opportunity knocked, and that's the first step. So I appreciate it, Nate, if you're watching the end of it here. Coming up next week, actually, I got to get my thing going here. we do have, we're going to switch gears a little bit next week we're switching gears next week from MMA and fighter to actually music. We're going to have Todd Cameron on here. Todd Cameron is, and I realize that we are a combat sports and rock music type of podcast, but I am a firm believer that some of the country music is a crossover these days. So I think it's kind of important to kind of recognize that sometimes. So next week we're going to have Todd Cameron on here. Todd Cameron is a Nashville artist. He is out of the Charleston, West Virginia. Actually, he's out of Nashville now, but he started out in Charleston, West Virginia. Y'all might have heard of the band Gage that went around Charleston. Gage started out. They went down to Nashville. They started out down there as Adair's Run. That was the name. And they've kind of been on hiatus here for a little bit. And Todd has actually broken off into his couple solo singles. And we're going to get the opportunity to talk to Todd after Christmas, right before New Year's. So I look forward to that. And hope everybody joins us on that. And some of the other things coming up here, we have... My internet is slow tonight for some reason. For those of you, Big Rick from the Mid-Ohio Valley here, we're going to have him on January 3rd. Those of you who have heard of Egypt Central, we're going to have Joey Walzer from Egypt Central on the program. Jordan Holly and Alana Holly, which is a husband-wife combat jiu-jitsu. And we've made up with Richie Green. And I haven't put this out there yet, but I have also secured a interview with PJ Farley. PJ Farley, if you are familiar with the band Trickster, he is the bass player for Trickster, and he is also in the band Raw, R-A, and he is also in the band Quarantine with Quarantine. He's in with he's the wrestler that has the band. My God, I'm drawing a blank here. It's awful. But we're going to have PJ Farley on here, and I cannot wait to talk to him. I've been waiting to get him on here as well. Just a second here. I got to look this up because it's going to drive me crazy. Anyway, in the meantime, hey, I do have some stickers. Anybody wants a sticker, send me your address and the inbox. I would be happy to send you a sticker. It's no cost to them or anything. It's just to support the podcast. And just shoot me your address and I'll send it to you. We'll get it out this week, and hopefully you can put it on your car, or if you have a cooler, you can put it on your cooler. And the name I was looking for was Chris Jericho. It's an 80s Kiss cover band. So PJ Farley is actually in that too. He's in Quarantine with Chris Jericho, Trickster, and Raw. And we're going to have him also in January. So we got a busy 2021 to start out with. We'll have Big Rick there, and we'll be talking to Big Rick. He's got some things going on to share, and we're going to help him get the word out. So, thank you everybody for tuning in this evening. Thank you to Nate Mayhem Maness for stopping by and talking to us. Good luck to him, and we'll get him back on here later on after he gets another fight under his belt, maybe. Have a great evening, everybody. Have a Merry Christmas. And if I don't talk to you before, have a Happy New Year. Peace out, everybody. Peace out, everybody. Make sure you support your local gyms and your local businesses through the COVID thing. Later.